Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to welcome on stage a man I introduced a little earlier on. Hopefully some of you have seen him around the tables during the meal. We're delighted to have him here. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John Milner.
Right, thank you. Good evening. Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Is that right?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you've all heard of the Indian rope trick. That's where the magician takes his piece of rope like this, throws it in the air and it stands up straight. And a little lad comes along and climbs it and disappears. Have you all heard of that one? Yes, well, don't worry, I don't do that one. But, sir, would you mind just feeling the end of that piece of rope, please, lovely? Wrap it around your hand and give it a good pull as hard as you can. Makes it fantastic. Now, if you come over here, it's very nice to volunteer. Thank you. Would you give him a nice round of applause, please, for coming out like this? Absolutely wonderful. That's great. Come right over here. I'm very pleased to meet you. What's your name?
Peter.
Correct. Now, Pete, would you examine the rope, please, and tell the ladies and gentlemen whether you can see anything at all wrong with it. It's just an ordinary piece of rope such as you might find in your bedroom. Your pyjama cord.
It's an ordinary piece of rope.
It's an ordinary piece of rope. Great, then I'll use this piece. Now then, Peter, I'm going to show you how to tie a knot in the middle of a piece of rope without loosening the ends. Do you know how to do that already? No. If you can do it when I show you, you get a bottle of scotch free after the show, okay? It's impossible, but you can try. Now, Peter, copy me. You start like this. You hold each end in a fist. Right? Now, you don't loose the ends at all. You don't change fingers or anything like that. Just each end in the fist. Are you ready then, Peter, for a bottle of scotch, yeah? Now, you go over this arm, pull it down, in through there, out there. Is that a bit fast for you?
Yeah,
oh, they didn't tell me that slow. Look, we'll start again. Action replay. Are you ready? You go over this arm and pull it down like this, a bit further down, Peter. Come this way towards me. In through this hole here. Bend your wrist towards the audience. Out through the other hole. Just out through there. Move your arms gently apart, and Peter, you should get something like that. Is that the same as me? Yeah, you sure? Because the bottle of scotch on this. Right, well, you keep a tight hold on the ends. Don't loose the ends at all. Just drop everything over your wrists, and you get the knot in the middle, and you, of course, lose your bottle of scotch. But I tell you what, Peter, I'll do something a bit... Don't clap on your own, they'll throw you a fish. I'll do something a bit easier for you, Peter. Look, if I take the rope and just bend it like this, now, would you say that this was about the centre here to within a centimetre? Now, do you think you could manage to cut through there if we had a pair of scissors?
Yeah.
You have some scissors?
I don't.
A knife?
No.
Oh, it's lucky I brought a pair. Now, all you have to do then, Peter, is cut through the middle of there, one big cut, so we get two pieces about the same length. Now, I normally have a drum roll, but we haven't got a drummer tonight, so if you'd all bang the tables and get in audience participation mood. Okay then, Peter. Through the middle, one big cut, so we get two pieces exactly the same... No, I wanted them both the same length there, Peter. See, that one's a bit long, see? No! Look, do you mind if I start this again? I'm sorry about this, ladies and gentlemen. I don't usually get these problems. Don't usually get Peter. Look, you hold the scissors. Okay, now look, Peter. If I take the two ends of the piece of rope and put them together like this, would you say that this was about the middle? Yeah. Right, cut through there then. Watch my thumb. Don't trim my nails. Great, you're still a bit off there, but don't worry about that because I'm going to restore this now by magic, so we'll do snip these bits off here. If you just wave your hand over the top, please. Now, don't stroke it, Peter. Just wave it over the top like this and say the magic words, Chelsea Building Society. And there you are, you see, it's restored like this. Thank you. Don't go away, don't go. I went to a party the other day and they said, yes, but every magician does that. They all cut rope into two and restore it, don't they? And this fellow said, why don't you be different, cut into three? So I thought, right, I'll try. So, Peter, if I take the rope and just bend it like this, and you were to cut through at the top and at the bottom, would you be satisfied that we got three pieces about the same length? Go on then, right through at the top and right through at the bottom. Fantastic. Right through at the top, right through at the bottom. Brilliant. So now we have 1, 2, 3 pieces, all about the same length. Great. If you could hold this one up in your left hand, hold it up high so they can all see at the back of the room. Hold this one up in your right hand, hold it up high so they can all see. Now what we've got, 3 pieces of rope, all the same length. You're trying to ruin this act. Just step over there a bit, will you? Over the trapdoor. Over the trapdoors. So we'll get rid of him. Now, do you know, Peter, my friend is a psychiatrist. Every patient that he has, he shows him 3 pieces of rope. There's always a short piece, and then there's a medium piece, and lastly, a very long piece. And he arranges the ropes after this fashion in his hands, transfers 3 of the ends to his right hand, keeps 3 in his left, and asks his patient one simple question. Which are the 2 ends of the longest piece of rope? Now, Peter, which do you think they are? Because usually, see, the patient has some difficulty in solving this problem, the 2 ends of the longest piece. One day the patient came along, he looked at the ropes, and he said, well, surely they're all about the same length. And the psychiatrist began to wonder who needed the treatment. Anyway, Peter, at this stage, I walked in, and he said, could you restore those, please? And I said, well, I'll try. So, Peter, if you just hold on to that for a second. So we took these 2, just tied the ends together like this, and you snip these odd bits off here, one over there, And then take the next two and tie these two together. Then you take this knot, place it into the left hand, the next knot into the left hand, and Peter, this is where, if you're a magician, you just take the rope and start all over again, and that's all there is to it. That's great. Thanks a lot, Peter. Absolutely super. Careful as you go down.